Hi, I'm Tom Farmer, and here's how you develop a very simple salary structure. To develop a salary structure, you need a file that has the necessary data. You need employee information. This file has name, job title, grade, function, salary, evaluation score, and market value. I've already completed market analysis, and so I basically have everything I need right here. Just a quick couple of comments. All this information is fake, it's fictitious, it's only for illustration purposes. So ignore the names. Another comment is remember that every person is assigned to a job. There could be multiple incumbents in a job. There could be 10 people sharing the same job title. You only need to match the job to a survey once. Really, we don't match people to survey jobs. We match jobs to survey jobs. And that becomes the match for all the people in a given job. Okay? So it's we have a one-to-many relationship between jobs and people. Okay, let's take a quick look at what else we have, at where this market data came from. I have some fictitious market data here. Survey job code. It also indicates function. Some companies build one-size-fits-all salary ranges for each grade. It doesn't matter what function you're in. Depending on your grade, that's your salary range. There are other companies, however, which establish separate salary ranges for each function. For example, finance would have different ranges from operations. Okay, so here's the market data. We have a survey job code, we have a function, we have a survey title. We also have Patterson grades here. Notice that in the employee data, we are evaluating jobs in the company using the Patterson system, which has been around since the 1970s, long before the current version of Mercer IPE. Among the well-known job evaluation systems, only the Hay system is older than Patterson. Patterson is still used widely, especially in South Africa, but also globally by companies like EY and several others. It's a simple system. It assigns a job to a band based on the evaluation score. The evaluation uses 5 equally weighted factors, including judgment, accountability, knowledge and skill, impact, and complexity in problem solving. E band are strategic level jobs. The D band are generally middle managers and some very senior professionals. The C band would include professional roles at the upper C grades, C4, C5. C3 and below generally do not require a university degree, but they are specialist roles. B gets into semi-skilled positions, and there are no A-level roles in this company, but A-level roles would be practically unskilled. Okay. So that's my market data here. Now the market data also, in addition to the Patterson grade, which is used to confirm the level of the match, it also has the annual salary. Most published surveys give you annual salary. I'm going to build ranges for monthly salary, which is convenient because my employee salaries are already on the system as monthly, which is typical here in Asia. So in the market data, I'm converting it down to monthly by dividing by 13, because my company, my hypothetical company, pays 13 months, and the 13th month is guaranteed. So I divide the annual market salary by 13 to come up with a monthly market salary. There's one more thing I need to do to my data before I build a structure, and that is to age the data, because this data reflects what companies in the survey were paying as of 1st of April 2017. I'm going to use my pay structure in the year 2018. So I need to age or inflate my raw market data to more aged data to match where the market's going to be, at least at the start of 2018. So going from April to January is 9 months. So if the annual salary trend is 6%, I'm going to age 9 divided by 12. 9 out of 12 months is 3/4. So I'm going to take 3/4 of 6%, which is 4.5%, and apply that to the raw market data to get my aged data. Okay, so I have aged data here. Finally, I have a matching worksheet here, which has all the unique job titles in the company, including their Patterson grade. And then I've set up this worksheet to capture and store and document all my matches, where all I have to do is enter the survey job code, for in this case 2001, and that's my match. It pulls in head of finance, Patterson grade E3, and the aged market value of 22,572. Okay, over here you can see the chief financial officer is matched to head of finance. Here's the head of finance, job 2001. There's Patterson grade E3, and there's the aged data, which it's pulling in based on the formulas I've created. Okay, this is not teaching formulas, we're just teaching structure. But I wanted to explain my spreadsheet first. Let's build a structure, okay? So let's create a new tab and use a pivot table, because a structure will give you a midpoint for every grade. What I want to do is build a structure where the midpoints are based on the market values of the people in the grade. Not the jobs, but the people in the grade. So if there are 10 people sharing the same job in a certain grade, as we may have in some lower level roles, as you can see, we have admin assistants at grade 9. We have 3 of them. Down here we have operators at grade 7. So by using the market value for the people, the market value is in that average for grade 7 3 times for people in that job instead of just once. So it's incumbent weighted average market value for that grade. Okay, so let's go back to the top. I'll make a pivot table. To make a pivot table, you need a block of data, rows and columns of solid data. Click anywhere in that data and select Insert Pivot Table. Excel will suggest the range of data that it sees by looking up, down, right, and left. And so it has properly selected columns A through L and row from the header row down to the last row of data. Okay, I check that, and then I will allow it to create a new worksheet. So I hit OK. So it creates a new tab, worksheet, and a pivot table. I have to tell the pivot table what I want in the pivot table. So I go over here to the field list. I want grade, because every grade needs a midpoint and a salary range. So I need grade, and then I need the market data, which is right here, the aged market salary. So I put it down here under the values. By default, it's giving me a count. This is actually a count of all the people, 83 people, as you can see. Interesting to know, but what I want is average of the market value. So I'm going to rename it to a brief name and select average, and I'm going to change the format because I don't like the decimal points and I want to have a comma in there. So here's what I have now. I have a pivot table, which is a summary of data showing the average market value for the people in each grade. So again, these are incumbent weighted market salary values for each grade. All right, to build a structure based on that, I want to create a few formulas, but I don't want those formulas to refer to the pivot table because the underlying formulas are a bit complex. So I'm going to copy and paste those numbers as values so they're free from any underlying formulas that would complicate things. Okay, let me just clean this up a bit, label it, Okay, aged market salary. Go like this and this. Okay, this will be the basis for the midpoints. So I want to create minimum, midpoint, maximum. That's really what a pay structure includes. I want the minimum to be 80% below, 80% of the midpoint, and I want the maximum to be 120% of the midpoint. This is not best practice. This is not the correct way. It's just commonly used percentages, plus minus 20%. I'm just using it for illustration. All right, so the midpoint is going to be equal to the incumbent weighted average market value per grade. All right, so I can copy this down, no problem. The minimum is going to equal the midpoint times 80%. I'm going to hit F4 at this point because I'm going to copy that formula down like this, okay? And every one of those minimum values refers to the cell to the right and to the 80%. Let's do the same thing over here. Equals the midpoint times 120%. Hit F4. Take away the decimals, copy it down. All right, I have a structure. It only took about 10 minutes. Now, I also like to round the numbers, so if you like rounding the numbers, maybe there's a chance you can memorize the numbers. So equals round, select the number, comma, -2 if you want to see 2 zeros. Round it to the nearest $100. These are Singapore dollars, by the way. They're not pesos. So here we have a simple structure. Notice that the midpoint progression is kind of strange. You have two adjacent grades with the exact same midpoint. That is a bit unusual. Probably there is some refinement needed in the market pricing or the job evaluation. But hey, it is what it is. So let's just illustrate here what I'm talking about. The midpoint in grade 7 is 0% higher than the midpoint of grade 6, as you can see. Now, if I copy this down, I can see my other midpoint differentials. And a midpoint differential is what we call the percentage rise from one midpoint to the next higher midpoint. Okay, 19% midpoint differential from grade 7 to grade 8, for example. So the pros and the cons for this type of survey, market-based structure, the market value, the midpoints are based on the market values directly. There's no regression, no smoothing. Okay, that's why the midpoint differentials vary so much, because you're deriving them directly off of the market values. Okay, so you can say for any grade, the midpoint is a direct reflection, only different because it was rounded. It's a direct reflection, however, of the market value of the jobs that people are in, but it's weighted by the incumbents, as we discussed earlier. So it's very accurate in terms of reflecting the market value. The problem with it is the midpoint differentials are not very smooth, which you can see very clearly when you graph this. So let's do a quick line chart, and you can see it's all over the place, the midpoints. Okay. So yeah, here's a quick chart to show you the ranges you've created. Let's drag this down. Let me put some up-down bars in there, which look like salary ranges, and then take away those lines, and then And then let's put some shading into the structure. I kind of like to put red up at the top, green at the bottom, and gray in the middle. So I'm not going to do any further. I just want you to see that the midpoint progression is really uneven. However, the salary range midpoints are very accurate to the market values for the jobs in that grade. So there's a simple pay structure.